Are we doing both of them up there?
What?
We're doing both of them up there?
Yeah.
You can actually stop. Oh, okay, so who's it for?
I'm hoping that these problems are, that today feels like a, oh yeah, we did do this, didn't we? Even if you're learning it, well, obviously, Phil, if you didn't. You probably learned, did you learn it like trying to figure out what goes inside them? Yeah? Yeah, the X thing, that's because I made it up. It's just a nice little keeping track of stuff. Are we ready? All right. Talk to your partner. Do you want to come up here? You have to do both. No? Did you not even have to ask each other? You just knew you didn't want to? Hands up. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3. Make sure you talk loud enough for the video.
Did your pen die?
No, it's over here resting. It's just resting, okay? We're just giving the blue one a chance to live. All right. Hey, don't be rude. The hallway's rude enough. Go ahead.
Okay, so first, we make an X. And then since negative 12 doesn't have a variable, you put that on the top. And then with the negative 11, put it at the bottom. And then you figure out what goes into what, and then it's negative 12 and 1. And then the answer is y plus 1, and then y minus 12 in parentheses. And then the next one, you put 30 at the top of the X after you make the X. And then you put negative 17 in the bottom. And then negative 15 and negative 2 equals 30 and negative 17 at the same time. So then it would be in W minus 2 and then W minus 15.
Perfect. Amazing.
Perfect.
I couldn't have done it nicer. All right. So let's just really quick, I want to make that connection for you just in case you haven't yet. Look at example 6. If I put W minus 2 and W minus 15, W times W is W squared. This one's negative 2W, this one's negative 15W, and that's 30. Do you see how these two things are the things that are on this side of the X? So the X is just a visual, just to help yourself kind of see this goes up, that goes there, to where this should be. Yeah?
What was the way that Miss King used to teach it?
Well, she never taught it, because she taught middle school, but the way that Thorson taught it, and other people, guys, please don't. The way that Thorson used to teach it is that he would draw like, and this is how I learned it too, you just draw parentheses, and then you're like, okay, so they both have to be W's. And you just do it in your head, so you think, okay, they have to multiply to get 30 and add to get negative 17, so I guess probably one's positive and one's no, they're both negative, right? And then that would be 15 and 2. Okay, so when I was a kid and I was in high school, we showed no work. It was just like you just have your answer. And then there were a whole bunch of kids who just couldn't do it. And especially when it comes to the X box problems, which we're about to do, it really left people stuck, because you literally just drew parentheses and just sat there guessing in your head until you got it right. All right, X box. Way number 3. Do you want me to write this out? Here, I'll write this out. Way number 1. Pull out common factors. That's the first way. Second way is the X problem. And the third one is an X box problem. Tomorrow we're going to use those special formulas backwards, and we're going to do something called the Wing Way, which was named after Connor Wing by me, because he had a much better way than I learned, which was called, the heck did they, grouping. They called it grouping. I'm sure Mrs. Sicking taught you grouping. And then Connor was like, why don't you just do it this way? And I was like, that's a way better way than what I've been teaching for the past 10 years, Connor. And he was like, huh. So then I started doing it his way and calling it the Wing Way. And eventually, nobody's going to know who Connor Wing is, and I'm still going to be calling it the Wing Way. And then his little child, he'll have a son come in one day, and I'll be like, your daddy, a long time ago, told me, because that's what I'll sound like then, probably. I don't know. All right. Third type. I don't know what example I'm on. 7. Do you know how many of you got that wrong? I was like, what example am I on? And you guys are like, 4, 5, 6, 8, 7, 7. And then I'm like, everyone's just say a number. 12, 85, 86.2. What is different about this one than the last one?
There's a number in the A.
There's a number in that A spot. That's not 1, right? There's a number that's in the front. Okay, so this is when you do an X box problem. Also notice that you can't take anything out of 4, 11, or 6. Do you remember how to do it? Okay, I'm going to zoom in, and I'm going to try to write really clearly. First step is to put in this top left corner, or A corner, I'm putting a 1 there because that's my first step. 4y squared. In the bottom corner goes 6. That's the last one. Remember what you do now?
Do the X.
Yeah, you multiply these two together, and that's what goes on top. So I'm multiplying these together. 4 times 6 is 24y squared. This is my third move up here. What goes on the bottom? Negative 11y, but keep that y in there. Now I'm going to try to find two things that multiply to get positive 24y squared and add to get negative 11y. Negative 8 and negative 3y. Negative 8y, negative 3y. This is step 5, is thinking of these guys. Is it helpful that I'm writing steps? Then you put them over here, and it doesn't matter where you put what. Okay, and now what we're going to do is we're going to do the opposite of putting stuff in the box. We're going to try to take out common factors. We're putting stuff on the outside. So I'm just going to look at the top row right now. What's in common in the top row? A 4 and a y, you said? Okay. And what's in common on the left side? Just a y. What's in common on the right side? A 2. I don't think that's quite right though, because 2 times 4y isn't negative 8y. Let's make this a negative 2. And then negative 2 times something equals 6. What goes here? Negative 3, because negative 3 times a negative 2 is a positive 6. And do you see how you can check in that last spot, negative 3 times y is negative 3y, so it works? Okay, so what are we on? Step 6 is kind of like figuring out this stuff on the outside. Then step 7 is just writing out those factors, y minus 2 and 4y minus 3. When I was a kid, probably Philip learned this way too. You just drew the parentheses, and then you